dark brought to light. Hello.
Hi.
This is Kerry.
And this is Kat.
And we are Tea in Valhalla.
You join us today as we just left the little village of Worth Matravers.
In Dorset.
And we're going to take you on a little coastal walk.
We are. This is part of the Jurassic coast and the southwest coast path. And this goes down, so the path we're on at the moment, this beautiful landscape here, goes straight down to Windspit, which is a really old stone quarry. It's a very famous quarry. It used to quarry some of the most beautiful architectural stone for London. And we're also going to visit a memorial garden to the fallen Marines that came under attack at their base. So we're also going to visit Aldhelm's Chapel, which is a teeny weeny little chapel right on the edge of the cliff. So it'll be really nice, right on Olafs Head actually.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Chapman's Pool.
So we parked in Worth Matravers village itself. It's a £2 honesty box car park. It's also got a toilet and things there, so lovely little spot really. Yes, bring some change because they don't take, obviously there's no slot cards. So our first stop is going to be Windspit. Interesting place. You're going to love it! Really pretty and grassy and overgrown here. Obviously really great for wildlife, especially invertebrates and small mammals. Yeah, it's full of life, absolutely beautiful. Lovely, got elder here. Really nice. Now that's giant hogweed. Be careful with them. They're not very good for you. The sap is toxic and it'll actually burn your skin. This whole area is alive with different plants. It's really beautiful, isn't it? Down here we've got a nice bit of vetch. And this is actually from the pea family. You can actually see the little pods. Look.
As Kat was just saying about all the different flowers we've been greeted with, this is a dog rose, a native wild rose, very pretty, and a climber as well, I believe.
Might be a terribly boring thing to tell people, but this is the humble sycamore, not native to Britain, hasn't actually been here that long. It was brought in by plant hunters and they really loved it. It's actually part of the sort of maple family, and the reason they leave them is actually they're quite good for species. They found that it actually has a high species count where it comes to what species will use this tree as part of its life cycle. So yeah, that's why they just leave it. That's why it's just sort of allowed to grow. So if you ever wonder why certain places like the RSPB or whatever allow these trees to grow still, even though they're not native, that's why.
So we've just come around the corner, greeted by the sea. Very nice too.
A really interesting place. Until 1940 this was still being used as a quarry, and it was quarrying stone mostly for London. So a lot of buildings in London are actually built via this stone. It was extremely expensive. And actually in World War II this was used as a base of operations for the Navy. And then after that the caves were reopened to the public. Some of the cave system is shut off now because it actually is home to bats. So they closed off some of the areas to prevent disturbances. So I actually used this area as a filming set. So it was used for Doctor Who. Quite recently it was used as Andor, so it was the film backdrop for Star Wars, currently on Disney. Interesting place. The actual stone that's quarried here is Purbeck Limestone, which is particularly durable, tough limestone. So yes, and it is very pale, and that's why some of the most prestigious buildings in London chose to use it. So we're now heading off. We're going to go to St Aldhelm's Chapel.
St Aldhelm's Chapel. Let's go.
Goodbye. So now we're on top of the Purbeck Limestone Quarry that we were just in.
Yeah.
Oh, we had to climb up and out. It was exhausting. But now we've got far-reaching views of the sea.
Friendly, must be young.
They haven't learnt the bloodthirst.
They haven't learnt the bloodthirst. This is lovely. Growing up, both of us grew up on areas of the British coastline.
Yeah.
I spent some time on West Wales.
And I had the North Sea and the East Anglia, so
I think we both got quite an affinity with the coastline and the nature.
babies of the sea.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
spent so much time on the beach as a kid, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
I know I'm probably going on too much about all the wildflowers here, but there's yarrow and convolvulus. But I just know how many critters feed off these things, special ones as well. So it's just, I just really love it. Is they've just kept this whole area full of wildflower. They haven't touched it. Look at it. As far as the eye can see, they've just kept it as is. Don't know, it just pleases me no end. Making our way up to the top of St Aldhelm's Head.
So we're just looking out over some old World War II building remnants and remains. Would have been fortifications and lookout points.
Dr. Penley, radar pioneer, 1917 to 2017. Bill came to Purbeck as one of the wartime radar team in 1940, the start of his long life love of the area. So this is a memorial that creates the radar research that was carried out here in Worth Matravers from 1940 to 42, which was crucial to the winning of the war and the birth of modern telecommunications.
And just behind it over there, the Chapel of St Aldhelm, and we'll take you over there in a minute.
So it's now a coast watch station.
Two guys in the man in the telescopes,
Yeah.
keeping their peepers peeled.
Keeping people safe.
Keeping people safe, yeah, absolutely. So there's some belief that this was never actually a chapel, that it was only a lookout for Corfe Castle.
They say that because of the shape of it, because churches and chapels are never square. And this is a square building. Also, the cardinal points are incorrect. It also doesn't have a proper font. And it has a pillar in the centre. All these things, they don't make sense for a chapel, but they do make sense for a watch-out tower. So, but this is a Norman chapel. It's been used as a chapel for a very long time. But for the Crusades, they believe that this sat on a footprint of a different building anyway. But they don't know that for sure, because obviously it's very heavily listed, so they can't go digging around or messing about. So this is, you can see how unusual this is. So there's a column dead central of a square building. There was no true font. This is an added, because churches and chapels of this age had built-in fonts. The fonts were part of the foundation of the building. So it's very unusual, and that's why they believe perhaps it was never meant to be a chapel. It feels like a very special little building.
It really does,
Yeah. Very unusual.
Right, I think we might try and find somewhere to park our bums and have a cup of tea now.
Oh yes.
So we've just stopped for a tin of pineapple, a cup of tea, just behind the viewing station over there, looking out over a very misty coast. But the guys have got their work cut out today. We're going to take you to Emmett Hill next, a Royal Marine memorial, which will be interesting to see and share with you. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. So our path has now led us to this massive ravine, all the way down, and that massive up, which is all just steps, and each step is held back, retained by Purbeck stone. I think it's rather nice, rather in keeping. Oh no, here we go. What I love about this limestone steps is that someone's put numbers on them. 200, so that must be the 200th step, I guess, up this way. Which quite like that. I like the fact that someone got irritated by the amount of steps, or just really, really likes to know where they are in the world. Oh dear, this path up looks a bit monstrous. Okay, here we go. Wheezing. So many steps. Why?
Very nearly at Emmett's Hill now. That last climb was certainly a steep one.
Got all these mallows, absolutely teeming with bees.
They love it, don't they?
Yeah, and hoverflies. Very nice. So here we're looking over the beautiful Chapman's Pool. This cove has been created because it's Kemmel Ridge clay, which is slightly softer, more malleable, easily broken down and eroded. But it's full of bivalves and animates, showing all those beautiful fossils, part of the rich Jurassic coast. we're here at the Emmets Hill Royal Marines Memorial Garden. It's very fitting, it's very beautiful. It's got a bench for you to stop and look out to sea, take a moment. The table and the benches have been built by the Royal Marines Association Dorset branch to the memory of all the Royal Marines killed, 1945 to 1990. Rest a while and reflect that we who are the living can enjoy the beauty of the sea and countryside. And there's the Royal Marines motto, per mare per terrain. Probably didn't say that quite right in Latin, but it literally means by sea, by land. Of course, it's a very fitting spot because this is a very important training area for the Royal Marines. It's also a really nice place to reflect. Look at these wildflowers, covered in honeybees, proper honeybees. Beautiful golden ring dragonfly here as well. This is sedum. It's a fantastic plant. They're big nectar holders. They can live with very little goodness, very little liquid. They flower slightly later in the season as well, so it gives a great nectar source for sort of later season. And they stay in flower for quite some months. Some beautiful lavender here. Looks like Hidcote lavender to me. I'm not sure though. Oh, I love the smell of this. Great if you have a bit of anxiety or don't sleep too well. Just great in general. I absolutely love it. I have this in my... I've got like a little puffing diffuser. I always put lavender in that. Someone's taken great care with this garden to plant it in a way that's extremely friendly for the invertebrates here. I can tell that someone really put time and thought into what they were going to plant here. Of course, all the stone here that make up the stone walls, the bench, even the memorial plaque itself, are all from this area. This is all Purbeck limestone.
So Kat's made it her mission to bring you the weird stone carvings in this wall.
I don't know much about these, but it's clearly pieces of Purbeck stone. But these are all along this beautiful wall that runs right along this coastal path here. There are these inserts with different slogans on, and this one says "exposed to the weather."
It's buried in the grass. It does mean she's risking life and limb, and tick infestation.
Dark brought to light. Between turf and sky. Held by gravity. Carries to say I'm making it a mission to see all of them. It's interesting, I want to know what they're there for. So if I find out what it's about, I shall tell you. Or you guys can tell me. That'd be even better. Love it. So we just got about a mile left now, but we've just come off the coast path. I'm going to walk through these fields back inland. So we thought we'd sign off here.
Yeah, thought we'd say our goodbyes. Hope you've enjoyed today's adventure. I've seen lots of interesting and different things.
I really enjoyed the quarry because
Yeah.
I've never actually been there properly, and I really liked how massive it was and how open it was. I actually thought it was a lot more closed off.
Yeah.
So that's a really, if you're ever in that area, I
Have a
suggest
look.
you go and have a look at that.
I've enjoyed all the wildflowers and
Oh my
butterflies,
God,
the big
so
dragonfly.
good. This really is the standard.
Yeah.
Like, it would be amazing if we had this
Gold
many
star.
wildflowers everywhere. Yeah,
it's
I'd love it.
fantastic. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget, give us a big thumbs up.
Bing.
drop us a little comment.
Diggly on.
If you're new to the channel, please think about subscribing.
Bang.
And hitting the bell notification.
Ting tong.
Really helps us out and it encourages us to share these adventures with you. So,
yeah, we really appreciate it. It's really kind of you if you fancy doing that. That would be cool.
So until next time, stay safe and well, look after each other.
And keep enjoying those green spaces. Take care.
Bye guys. My name is Carius Maximus Tiaeus Drinkius. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.